stepping all over my, stepping on my balls. My weighted balls. I just did a video where I was using some weighted balls to sort of illustrate how I practice under that weight to let it teach me about yielding and arranging my body so that I can deal with the weight in motion without straining my joints, which is something I don't want to do. But I thought I'd do a little video here in general talking about just how I use fitness training tools, and I treat almost everything in my life as a fitness tool or a piece of training equipment. How do I do that the sort of Tai Chi way? So with the weighted balls, I want my movements to be thorough and smooth and connected. I want my root to be in my feet. I want my power to come from the legs. I want my waist to direct that power. I want my upper body to express it. So that means I don't power it with my arms, isolated like that. If I was going to do that, I would shift my weight and swing the balls like that. Right? And then I can swing them around and feel like, where is gravity? Where do they want to go? And I arrange myself in the least stressful way so the movement can be the most complete with the least strain. I don't mind work, I don't mind effort, but I'm talking about strain. I'm 64, I'm a little bit prone to tendinitis and to soft tissue injuries, so strain has always been my enemy naturally. I'm lucky, because if you can strain and not get injured, it will lead you to think that straining is okay, and then you'll get injured later. But I'm prone to it, so I get injured sooner. So I know right away, whoa, that's too much, too much strain. So that's, how I use the weighted balls to as a part of my Tai Chi training, which I think of as this quest for unforced balance, the balance of yin and yang in my body. I don't really see Tai Chi as a catalog of techniques that I'm going to try to make work in life or make work in fighting. I think of them as think of Tai Chi as a training method that I can apply to any activity, including martial arts. So the training is to have good posture and to have relaxed, soft, ready muscles, floating and ready joints, connected to the breath, connected with intention, so that my movements are fluid, effective, efficient, and above all, injury-free. That can be applied to martial art movements, and it can be applied to fitness training equipment. Also, we train in slow motion so that we can study the transfer of momentum, and we can study posture and the correct amount of muscle force and intention and all that. We can study it. It's hard to do at full speed unless you're very talented. So I'm not very talented, so I like to do it slowly, right? So here, take this thing. This is called a ACE system. It's called the ACE system. And it's got a lot of Chinese writing on it. I bought it on Amazon. Basically, it's something that you use to get some pushing like that. You can adjust the difficulty up there. So when I'm doing this thing, I basically have two movements that I do with this. Pushing it this way, hands towards each other, and pushing it this way, hands towards each other. Just slightly different. And I can do it higher or lower. I always start by just engaging the muscles that I'm going to use. So I just kind of just apply some minimal pressure to the piece of equipment. Just enough that I can feel all the muscles that I'm going to use. I'm just isometrically pressing against the resistance of the machine. Give myself a little break, and then I do it on the other side. Just enough pressure. Just enough to feel like something, to engage those muscles, kind of warm them up a little bit, make them feel like, okay, this is it. I can feel all the muscles that I would be using if I did it harder right now. But it's just a gentle one. And then I say, okay, now I'm going to do the whole thing. So there. And I try to do it as smoothly as I can, maybe with my legs helping a little bit. And I try to do it smooth and even. And if I wasn't talking, I would be also connecting it with my breath. So I'm not going for maximum reps. I'm not pushing hard. I'm smooth and even as I can. That's my goal. I'm trying to do that. That's my aim. Whether I do it, I don't know. It's different every day. If I feel strain, if I feel soreness in my elbow, soreness anywhere, I will either just do the minimal, just feel the pressure, or I will just put the thing down. If I'm in some kind of pre-injury state where a movement that was normally easy, it causes me joint or tendon and that kind of feeling of tight, strain around the joints, and I don't do it anymore. So I'm going for smoothness and not strain, no strain, right? And also I have to do it kind of slow in order to do that. Sorry, gotta hang up my crazy hat. This thing is called a Classic Bowflex. No, not Bowflex. Oh, I always forget this name. Bullworker. So this is the one that I really like because it's got the handles in the middle. And I do 3 exercises with this one. I pull them apart like this. And I pull them apart like this. And of course the other side. So what I do when I'm doing this is very similar to what I do with the A-frame. What the heck is that? A-system. So what I do if I'm doing the first one is I just pull, medium pull, just a little bit, just to activate the muscles that do the pulling, which is mostly my back and some triceps. And I can do it lower, I can do it higher, I can do it over my head. But it's just enough to engage that. And then I rest a little bit, right? Then I go a little further. And back. And then I might add some legs, a little rise in the legs, like that. And then I will do 1 or 2 or 3 as far as I can go. About there. But the main thing is I'm not trying to strain and push hard and go to that point where I'm going to tear something. I'm really working my back first. I'm separating without a lot of arm strength. I'm using the muscles between my shoulder blades and my back, shoulders, stabilizers, whatever. Then I add some arm at the end. And I might hold it there and bring it back again. So believe me, that is a ton of work. If I'm doing it sideways, I get my body in a good position here. All my front arm is going to do is to try to stay straight. So that's just straight. What I do is I'm going to pull my hand to where it comes to where my elbow is, and I'm going to use my shoulder and not my shoulder so much, my back. I'm going to use my back to pull it to where it's even with my elbow, right there. And then I'm going to use arm to take it the rest of the way. And I'm going to try not to lift my shoulders. That's difficult to do. It's easy to do this, right? But I'm going to bring this up straight. I'm going to pull with my back first, and then add the arms, right? So another angle, back first. See, I'm turning my body sideways to it, and then from there I'm pulling from there, trying to keep my head free. Using my back first and then my arms, right? So I try to do it as smooth and evenly and thoroughly as I can. I'm not just trying to bust out numbers. I'm not just trying to see how many numbers I can do. I'm going to do it smooth and even with breath and relaxation and try to make it as integrated and thorough a movement as I can. So I'm using kind of everything rather than trying to pull things. I've got these ab roller things. These guys I got to do the ab rolls on the ground. And I started to do it, and to tell you the truth, it seemed impossible. I mean, like, I would get on the ground and I would roll out on these things a little way, and I just couldn't do it anymore. It literally seemed impossible. And I kind of thought, well, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And I just kind of set them aside for a little while, and a friend of mine came over who doesn't weigh much. He's a yoga guy, he's really good condition, and he's like an athlete. maybe 140 pounds, and he just put it down and just rolled out and came right back, and I could just see before my very eyes that it was possible. So I started, what I started doing is, let's make sure I'm still visible, like there. What I started doing is I would just roll out until it got too painful to go any further, and I would come back again. And I told myself I'm going to go an inch further than I did last time. And if you haven't done these things and you do them, it makes you very sore in the low abs. If you skip a week and come back to it, you'll have to go through that soreness again. So I just do 10 of these minimum every day, almost every day. I might skip a day occasionally, but never 2 days in a row, because I don't want to go back to where I was. And I'm not doing huge amounts of numbers. Again, I'm trying to be smooth and even. So what I do is I get over them like this, right? And I go out, and I do this while I inhale, and then I exhale back. That's how I like to do it. So as I go forward, I'm going to tuck my hips. I don't want my back arched at all as I go down. I want to tuck it. Tuck my hips right here. And then back up again. So I try to make that as smooth as I can. And again, I'm not trying to bust out huge numbers of moves. I'm using these equipment devices to challenge myself to move in a more smooth, harmonious, relaxed way. My bicycle is a piece of fitness training equipment to me. You know, I've done a few videos lately about uphill biking and how I try to keep a smooth, steady, consistent engagement with my pedals, no matter how high or steep the hill is. I find a gear where I can keep that smooth engagement as opposed to pushing it and then relaxing it and pushing it and relax, trying to stay smooth and consistent. I find the gear that I can do that. I'm not saying it's the best way to bike. I'm just saying it's like a Tai Chi way to bike. I try to keep that smooth, steady engagement so there's no gap in it. There's no I'm not looking for rest. I'm looking for a smooth, steady engagement that I can sustain. Kettlebells. I'm not a big kettlebell swing guy. My low back's a little fragile, so I like to work with Pharmacaries, where you just stand and carry this, or walk around the room or the apartment with that. Try to do that. Lift my chest, tuck my hips, engage everything, and just feel that weight. That makes me want to do this and do the opposite, which is just to lift against it. But I don't push myself to strain where I'm trembling and shaking, and I don't go to failure. I just want to feel like, okay, I can hold these guys and stay connected and consistent and integrated with my posture and my muscles and stuff. I have a single one that's heavier, and I like to do the OneArm Pharmacary with that. They said, oh, this is really good for your side abdominals. And I'm going, God, this doesn't do anything. Then I reached over to the other side. I was like, oh my God. This side is the one that's working, because this wants to go like that, and you have to pull this back up. So eventually you switch to the other side, there, and you work this side now. So that's a nice one. I also really like the halo, where you bring it around your head and you see how smoothly and evenly you can do that. So if I had a fully functional lower back, I might be more interested in doing, the swinging exercises, but I might get back to that. I'm just, in general, I feel like it's just too risky for my low back to do this kind of motion. So I use it for, what I can use it for. Another piece of equipment that I have is it's a wobble board. It has a ball on the bottom that you can set for different heights that make it a little faster or slower. I put it on this cushion because I don't want to just damage the floor that I'm under, but I like to stand on the wobble board, and it's good for my ankles and it's good for my balance, good for the legs, good for the whole body really. I got restless when I was just standing on this thing. Not exactly bored, but I just wanted more to do, and so I thought, why don't I come up with a game that will help me stay up here longer, because it'll be fun to play the game. So I can't quite do it the way I normally do it, but I'll show you kind of what I do. I'm just going to do a little weak version of this. Normally I stand with this over there, and it's a little bit further. Let's make it closer to the right distance. Can you still see it? Yeah, you can still see that hat. Yeah, let's put it over there. So what I do is I have a deck of cards, and I get up on the wobble board like so, and then I toss cards into the hat. Normally I have a backboard, so this is a little bit harder. But you can see it keeps me on the board. It's just kind of fun to see what I can do, balanced on the board. And again, when my posture's good, when I'm upright, let me get myself correct here. When I'm upright in my chest and I've got a good posture there, it goes better. This isn't my preferred distance or arrangement, so I'm probably getting fewer in than I normally would. My best out of 54 cards, I've gotten 44 on the wobble board. So that's like 4 out of 5, and on the board. So let's finish with there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, that would have stayed, but there's stuff in the path that I didn't take out, so it bounced. That's 7 or 8 in a row. So that's another thing that I do to keep me on the wobble board. So I want to be consistent and smooth, and it doesn't matter to me what my scores are. Not good scores feel better than bad scores, but the main thing is to stay on the board. The benefits come from doing it. Another video I did recently. So whatever keeps me on the board, the longer I spend on the board, the better. If I stay on the board for 10 minutes, and I never get higher than 20 out of 54 cards in there, I'll get more benefit than if I got all 50 in, but I only did it once. So I want to stay on the board as Here's another piece of fitness equipment. This thing is something like a 20-some pound weight vest, which you can wear and do Tai Chi, work on your balance, work on striking, work on whatever, while you have 22-some pounds around your neck, or around your waist. So, where is it? It's around my shoulders, it's around my core, really. Probably tighten that up a little bit. So, you look like a terrorist, but you don't walk around like this. But I'm using this as a way to, see if I can get that there. So using that as a way to add weight while I do other things. And again, once I add the weight, I want to be smooth and consistent, and I don't want to strain myself. So I want to keep that weight as just more of a reminder about where gravity is and how much force it puts on my body. And so that's what I'm doing with that. So these are all bits of fitness equipment that are sometimes overdone, done with a lot of force and a lot of pressure on the body and trying to get numbers and getting really jacked, but it just isn't the Tai Chi way. So I don't do it. When it comes to things like push-ups, smooth, even, with breath, good form, not numbers. I'm not I'm not trying to see how many short ones I can do or how many half-assed ones I can do. I want to do the best, even, thorough push-up I can do. So that's the way I do that. When I'm outside with my pull-up bar, I do the same thing. I want smooth, even, strainless movements. I don't want to be kicking my legs and trying to get up there or using a lot of momentum to hoist myself over the bar. I want to use smooth, even engagement, thorough movements. And the end result is that there's just less binding in the body. There's just less tight, injury-prone areas. The movements are more holistic, more integrated, more connected. Everything is trained to be part of the whole rather than isolated. Even when I do, like, let's see, if I was going to do some curls, I would not isolate the bicep like this, because that muscle has to work from just cold to full contraction. I do it like this. So I'm using the momentum of my body turning to help my hand up. So by the time that this muscle fires, it's already in motion. So I'm adding to a motion. And yes, it isn't as much isolation, it isn't as much work for that muscle, but if I want more work for that muscle, just do more reps. So I just do more reps if I want to do that. But this motion here, much easier on my muscles than just cold. Boom. There. Same thing as if I was going to lift them up over my head like this, right? That's isolated. I would use my legs to help me up, and I would use legs and gravity to help me down, right? So I'm making it a whole body movement rather than an isolated contraction. So I'm looking for smoothness, holistic, integrated, all-body movements without jerking around and pretending I'm getting super high numbers when I'm really just straining and getting myself closer to an injury. So that's how I work with fitness equipment when I'm, basically applying Tai Chi principles to training equipment like bicycles and weight vests and balls and stuff like that. I also have, some hacky sacks. I like to do some hacky sacks. It's a nice little game. It's fun. It's play. You're trying to keep the ball up as long as you can. You're going to lose. It's like life. You're going to die. The sack's going to hit the ground. But can you show a little style before it hits the ground? Can you have a little fun and connection with people while you're waiting for the ball to hit the ground? Yeah, you can. So I see that as a training obstacle too. Training equipment too. I want to be as smooth as I can be with my movements. I'm not great at hacky sack, but I try to do it as smoothly as I can. It's not just a goofy hippie game. I'm doing that as part of my Tai Chi training. So my weight shifts I want to be smooth, and my targeting, it's what I aim for. I don't always get it, but that's what I aim for. And aiming for that makes me consistently more integrated and my movements more smooth and thorough all the time. So I have lots of I even consider playing the guitar. The guitar is also a piece of training equipment. Can I play it smoothly? Can I relax into this instrument and not strain or hurt myself while I play it? So that's pretty much how I apply these things to all kinds of physical training pieces of equipment. So I thank you for watching. I hope this is useful and maybe inspires you to work with a physical object in some way that's a little different than you have been maybe, and to try it out. Hope it's helpful to you. Let me know if it is. I have donation links all over my YouTube videos and also on my website, GeneBurnett.com. Donations are always great. They help me stay afloat, but by all means not necessary. Comments are just as good. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and good luck with your training. And stay safe, breathe deep.